If you're still posting, still scheduling content, still showing up online, but you don't really care how it performs anymore, that's not discipline. That's burnout that learned how to stay productive. And if you're a content creator like I am, running YouTube channels, Instagram accounts, LinkedIn's, or all of them at once, this is the warning sign almost no one talks about. Most people think burnout looks like exhaustion. Missed uploads, creative blocks, disappearing for weeks. But there's a quieter version that looks like consistency. You post because it's on the calendar. You optimize because you know how. You hit publish and feel nothing. No relief, no excitement, just neutral. Today, I want to show you why complacency in content creation isn't peace. It's a shutdown response. It's often a shutdown response that shows up after motivation collapses. By the end of this video, you'll be able to tell whether this is discipline or burnout, hiding behind consistency. And I'm not talking about this from the outside. As a creator, I've lived this and I'm living it now because I'm currently running 4 different content channels, each with its own audience, its own rhythm, and its own expectations. I felt this shift firsthand, still creating, still publishing, but emotionally checked out in ways that were hard to explain. That's when I realized complacency wasn't balance. It was burnout that had gone quiet. Here's the first misunderstanding. Creators often confuse rest with complacency, but they feel very different. Rest brings curiosity back. Complacency removes it. After real rest, ideas start bubbling up again. After complacency, ideas feel interchangeable. Rest makes you want to experiment. Complacency makes you play it safe. Rest refreshes your voice. Complacency turns your voice into a template. And this is where most creators blame the wrong thing. Why this isn't laziness or falling off. If this were laziness, you wouldn't be posting at all. Let me be clear about what discipline actually is. Discipline is doing what you don't want to do when you don't want to do it. Burnout looks similar on the surface, but the internal signal is completely different. With discipline, you don't want to do the work, but you still care about the outcome. With burnout, the outcome itself stops mattering. That's the difference most creators miss. But burned out creators still publish, just without attachment. You do the work, but you don't feel anticipation. Metrics don't even excite you or hurt you anymore. Growth feels abstract, distant, almost irrelevant. You tell yourself, I'll post one and move on. And you mean it. Lazy creators just avoid effort. Burned out creators avoid emotional investment. So if this isn't laziness, what actually caused the disengagement? The emotional shutdown phase of creator burnout. This phase usually comes after you tried caring. You invested more. You showed up consistently. You tied everything to outcomes. And at some point, the return didn't match the cost. Algorithms felt unpredictable. Effort felt unrewarded. Hope started to feel risky. So your system adapted. Detachment felt safer than disappointment. Burnout doesn't always collapse you. Sometimes it protects you by turning the volume down. And once that protection becomes the default, something else quietly disappears. When content loses contrast is where complacency gets dangerous. Wins feel muted. Losses barely register. Comments don't move you. You're not unhappy, but you're not engaged either. Everything feels flat. There's no crisis to fix, no obvious breaking point, just a slow emotional leveling where nothing stands out anymore. Which leads to the question creators quietly stop asking. Here's the question that fades first. How is this actually affecting me day to day? Instead, you track output, schedules, posting streaks, but you stop tracking your internal cost. Most creators don't burn out suddenly. They burn out quietly, one normal day at a time. And this is where most creator advice completely misses the mark. So here's a really big problem. Why just being consistent makes this worse? More posting won't fix emotional disengagement. A new platform won't either. Pressure doesn't reignite meaning. It deepens shutdown. What's missing isn't strategy, it's awareness. And this is where a lot of creators get stuck because they assume this feeling is just a season they're in. But before you make that assumption, there's a simple way to check whether what you're experiencing is burnout or something else entirely. I've linked a video here that breaks that distinction down. The creator complacency check. Ask yourself 3 questions. Do I feel relieved when expectations are lowered? Do I confuse emotional numbness with balance? Have I stopped believing deeper effort would matter anyway? If you answered yes to more than one, this isn't a content problem. It's a capacity signal. Awareness doesn't mean you change everything tomorrow. It just means you stop mislabeling what your system is trying to tell you. Complacency isn't failure. It's burnout that learned how to stay functional. And burnout doesn't always scream. Sometimes it just keeps posting, not to push harder, but to notice earlier. And if you want to explore that more broadly, beyond just your work, I'll link my book, Break Free from Burnout, in the description. It explores burnout through 8 essential areas of wellness. Look, if you want to go deeper, check out this next video. It's designed to help you spot burnout early, before it takes a real toll. Thanks for watching. I'll see you online soon.